Welcome to this explainer. Okay, we're going to cut right through the massive fire hose of recent AI announcements today. We filtered down over 70 stories from a wildly busy week just to show you how AI is literally moving right into our daily lives. We're looking at a fundamental shift here in how we interact with technology, and man, we have got a lot of fascinating ground to cover together. Let's get right into it. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Microsoft's model explosion, 2. The age of agents, 3. AI hardware and local compute, 4. Rapid-fire AI updates, and finally, 5. The humanist AI future.
Kicking things off with Section 1, Microsoft's model explosion.
So Microsoft Build just happened, and they unveiled a really aggressive push for AI self-sufficiency. They aren't just relying on partners like OpenAI anymore. Nope. They're building their own foundation with 7 brand new in-house models. It's fascinating to see them build these highly specialized tools completely from scratch. For example, you have MAI Thinking stepping in as their flagship reasoning model. Then there's MAI Code 1 Flash, which gives you high accuracy but uses way fewer tokens. For visuals, MAI Image 2.5 is already ranking number 2 globally in image editing, which is huge. And perhaps most practically, MAI Transcribe 1.5 is currently state-of-the-art for transcription accuracy, and it's running 5 times faster than competing models. Microsoft is basically proving they can hit absolute frontier performance all on their own. And this quote perfectly captures Microsoft AI CEO Mustafa Suleyman's top priority right now. It's all about guaranteeing ethically obtained training data so enterprises can build on these tools with total confidence. You see, he emphasized that Microsoft has paid a whole lot for their data and licensed it incredibly carefully. They're deliberately avoiding open datasets that might carry hidden security bugs or unverified junk. It's all about building a foundation of absolute trust for developers. All right, moving right along to Section 2, the age of agents. We're moving way beyond simple text generators here into an era where AI actually does the work for you. We are officially entering the age of agents. The big takeaway is that tools like Microsoft Scout, which is powered by OpenClaw, an open source tech that essentially gives the AI hands, are stepping right out of the browser. They're acting autonomously inside your operating system to manage your entire day. This isn't just a little chatbot in a browser window anymore. Scout operates across your desktop and the cloud, plugging directly into Teams, Outlook, and OneDrive. It actually has its own identity and acts on your behalf. Microsoft is calling these autopilots, and it's an absolute game changer. Now, OpenAI definitely isn't sitting still either. They are transforming Codex from a basic coding environment into a super app adapted perfectly to your specific professional role. By introducing these new plugins, you can tailor the AI entirely to your day job. Whether you're in sales, product design, or investment banking, you just install the relevant plugin and boom, suddenly your AI assistant is dialed in specifically to the nuances of your unique industry. And speaking of flexibility, the new GitHub Copilot app update is wild. You aren't locked into one ecosystem anymore. This gives you the freedom to pick the absolute fastest or cheapest model for your specific task from any provider you want. Although, kind of funny story, demand was apparently so insane that new plan signups were temporarily paused immediately after the announcement, just to keep the servers from melting. But once it's fully live, that freedom of choice is going to be massive for developers. To really understand why this matters for your daily workflow, think about having a personal superpower that basically replaces a team of full-time assistants. Mustafa Suleyman actually shared his own routine to prove this exact point. Every single morning, his AI scans all his communications and document changes, synthesizes all of it into a clean summary, and hands him prioritized actions and meeting briefs. Imagine starting your day with absolute clarity, armed with that level of organized information before you've even had your coffee. Okay, on to Section 3, AI hardware and local compute. So we are now transitioning from software on your screen into the actual physical devices and silicon powering your machines. Running smaller, highly capable large language models, or LLMs, directly on your device means you keep your private data totally secure. By shifting the processing away from the cloud and onto your local computer, the privacy implications are just massive. You no longer have to send sensitive documents out to a remote server. Plus, think about this. If you're stuck on an airplane without Wi-Fi, you can still summarize documents, rewrite emails, and reorganize data completely offline. How cool is that? Microsoft is also experimenting boldly through Project Solara by putting AI agents inside legacy workplace devices. They are fundamentally upgrading how doctors and warehouse workers will interact with their environments. They're taking things that really haven't evolved in 30 years, like the standard corporate lanyard badge, and turning them into ever-present sensor systems packed with cameras and microphones. It's truly incredible to think about.
A doctor can use a smart badge to keep track of patient details instantly, or a warehouse worker could use a scanner gun seamlessly, making the AI totally integrated into their physical, real-world workspace.
And to power all that local tech, check this out, 128. That is the staggering 128 gigabytes of unified compute packed into NVIDIA's new RTX Spark chip, basically turning laptops into offline AI powerhouses. Announced over at Computex, this chip acts as both a GPU and CPU in one. This is exactly the kind of hardware you need to run those large, incredibly smart LLMs completely locally on devices like the new Surface Laptop Ultra. You get top-tier performance right there on your desk without ever hitting a network.
All right, take a breath because here comes Section 4, Rapid-Fire AI Updates.
Hold on tight, because we are speeding up the pace to cover a massive flurry of standalone model drops that hit the market this week. First up, NVIDIA drops the open-weight Neutron 3 Ultra model, meaning researchers can actually look under the hood. It boasts 550 billion parameters, or brain connections, specifically optimized for cost-efficient agent productivity. Because it's open weight, you get incredible access to its underlying architecture. Though, honestly, at 550 billion parameters, you're still definitely going to need cloud-level power to actually run the thing.
Next up, the number 2. That is the literal number of seconds it takes the new Creo 2 Turbo model to generate a high-quality image, pushing generation speeds to the absolute limit. It keeps the exact same stunning visual quality you'd expect, but radically condenses the computation time. 2 seconds. That's it.
It is just amazing to see how we're shrinking massive intelligence down so you can run top-tier performance on consumer hardware. Looking at Google's benchmarks, this much smaller Gemma 412B model only slightly underperforms compared to a massive 426B version. This is exactly how we get those lightning-fast, local, offline AI experiences we talked about just a minute ago. And then we have Miso 1. This open-weight voice model sounds incredibly human. It perfectly handles tone and breath to the point where it could easily fool a casual listener. It includes the natural cadences, the little pauses, and emotional inflections that make speech sound genuinely authentic. Seriously, if you were scrolling through social media and heard this narrating a video, you would absolutely assume it was a real person sitting in a recording booth.
Finally, Section 5, the humanist AI future.
Let's slow things down a bit to look at the big picture here. With agents on our devices and intelligent chips in our laptops, where does this actually leave humanity? Well, through a major collaboration with the Mayo Clinic, Microsoft is aiming to put world-class, abundant healthcare directly into everyone's hands. Mustafa Suleiman pointed out that right now, the absolute best healthcare in the world requires a physical trip to the Mayo Clinic, but in just 2 to 3 years, they believe a medical superintelligence could live right in your pocket. That effectively democratizes elite health guidance for literally everyone on the planet. Because these systems are going to be so deeply integrated into our lives, developing the governance and frameworks around them will become society's primary focus. When asked what students should study today for this rapidly approaching future, Suleiman highlighted that, while software, math, and science are still totally vital, philosophy, ethics, and governance are about to take center stage. We are creating dynamic, incredibly powerful entities that will interact with our daily civil services and public duties. Understanding how to govern them safely is just as important as knowing how to code them. As we build towards superintelligence, this is the ultimate humanist test we have to leave you with today to measure true technological progress. It shouldn't just be about building a machine that exceeds human intelligence just for the sake of doing it, right? The core motivation behind this staggering wave of models, chips, and agents we've explored today has to answer one simple question. Does it genuinely make our collective lives healthier and happier? If the answer is yes, we are on the verge of a golden age. If not, well, who is actually at the steering wheel? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.